I'm Katie Morton.
And I'm Jennifer Palmer.
We are divinely guided. We're both intuitives, energy healers, spiritual teachers.
And every Thursday night we come on here live to answer questions you might have for your loved ones and spirit guides.
Yeah, so if you do have questions for your loved ones and spirit guides, you may type them into the comments.
And we will try to answer them.
That's right.
We are streaming to multiple places, so if we don't see your comment right away, it's probably because we're reading other places.
Yeah, and so don't, nothing personal. Don't take offense. If you feel like we skipped you, we didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, it is the Aquarius new moon tonight.
Ooh.
Which is pretty exciting. So,
well, that reminds me, we wanted to, next Tuesday, we're going to be doing a unity meditation and activation, specifically to feel more unity within ourselves, but then also just for all of human beings of Earth, to try to bring more love and unity into our experience in this crazy
right
time.
I know, because it's easy to get into divisiveness and being not pleased.
So join us on Tuesday at 7, okay, guys?
Yeah.
And we'll get some word out there. We just decided today when we were going to do it. So we got a big download today. We must do it.
That we're going to do it. So we're going to do it. All right. So join us Tuesday at 7.
Yeah, and also, real quickly, March 20th, we're planning to do
a galactic contact event.
On a very special day.
That's right. It's the March equinox, which is March 20th, spring equinox. And it's going to be a really fabulous day for stargazing and seeing our galactic friends. So location TBD, but more info to come. So mark here.
Yeah, we're looking to do an overnight thing.
Yeah, an overnight, local to Maryland, but overnight. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We got a lot of stuff already coming in.
We sure do. So, Oriana says, hi, ladies. Hi, Oriana.
Hey.
Good to hear from you. Linda Heath asks, is my husband in my life? That's a curious question. I'm assuming it means he's passed.
And is he around?
But I don't know. We'll just tune in and see what we get. I'm hearing yes, but it doesn't feel like an intensive. Like, it does feel like he comes in to check, and it does feel like as needed. And it does feel like when you summon him or you speak to him or anything like that, it does feel like he shows up. I don't feel like he's like, following you around or anything and watching you pee, thank God, right? Nobody needs that. But I feel like he will come when called, and he is helping you.
Yeah, what I was getting, and I think, it's pretty generic guidance, but they wanted to just say, and maybe it's for others that are watching too, because I don't necessarily feel like you need to be told this, but it's what's coming through, so I'll say it. When we come into this life, it's like we're wearing a costume because we're playing a role, a very specific role with certain challenges and things that we're doing in this life. But his presence is still there. Even after the costume comes off, the presence is there. And there really is no difference between being in a body and being out of body as far as the presence of the soul. And they just want everyone to know that just because someone leaves this lifetime in this body, they're still around. Like, they do come around. They are very present. They make their presence known. Sometimes we just don't hear them. I feel like maybe you do, though, or maybe you're questioning, maybe that was him. I do think that he comes around.
I am feeling like you might feel sometimes like a cool energy. That happens sometimes with past loved ones. It's sort of like almost like a cool breeze or like a cold energy. I do feel like if you feel like that, sometimes that might actually be him. I'm hearing yes.
Also, too, like, Katie and I often experience physical ailments when they come around. So it could be headaches or knee pain, or even feel like you're coming down with a cold or a sickness or something. Or I've got this one grandmother that comes around, my husband's grandmother, and I, I, I either start feeling like I'm coming down with something, like I'll get achy, or I'll literally feel like I'm narcoleptic and just want to crash and fall asleep. So, but I always know it's her. And then I get the message, and then all of a sudden, like that feeling goes away. So, um, yeah, they come in lots of different ways. And I feel like that's really important for a lot of people on here tonight to hear. Also, feathers and pennies and things like that. People often say cardinals when they see a lot of cardinals, like they feel like they're really close to their loved ones. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and just I want to explain a little bit the item of note about the ailments, and it could be just some aches and pains that they lived with in life, or it could be some symptoms that they had towards the end of life. So I'll give the example of my daughter's her grandmother had a knee replacement surgery, so when she comes in, she'll often feel some knee pain. She also went through some cancer and chemotherapy, so she'll feel those sort of symptoms of like, the stomach pain and the nausea and things like that. So it could be different symptoms of what they felt like. So who knows?
All right. Shawnee Nicole Drake. Hi, ladies. Any messages from my angels tonight?
Okay.
So I'm seeing a book, and it was a book for reading. It wasn't like journaling or anything, but I see you reading a book, and it's your hands were almost guiding you as you were reading it. You're very intensively reading the book, and it feels like it's connected to spiritual growth and expansion. You were learning in this reading. It wasn't just for pleasure. So I feel like they want to talk about one of the texts that Katie and I have read is the Law of One, or the Raw Contact. They've renamed it. Um, it's a really beautiful teaching. We agree with and feel like we also get from our guides a lot of similar teachings. So it's very much in alignment with how we see things and how we experience things. And that's coming up. So I feel like they want you to look into that. Now it's way down the rabbit hole, it's a galactic intelligence basically. Yeah.
It's some advanced reading.
It's beautiful though. It's very interesting too. But you can only read so much at a time because it's
you have to digest it and integrate the information. You can't just like skip through it quickly. But I'm hearing you'll get a lot out of it, and it's worth the time and the effort that it takes. And there's an Audible version, and there's a paperback, which is 2 volumes, 2 big fat books.
I think that's all I'm getting. Are you getting anything else?
I heard that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
time for some soul growth.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a treat. It's a delight. The other thing I gotta add, they showed me it was like this spinning. It was like something like sort of like a top or a gyroscope or something spinning, and it was representative of the ascension spiral and growth, and it felt very stagnant. It wasn't moving up. So I do feel like perhaps this is going to help you on the journey, kind of get unstuck and push you forward in a good way.
Excellent. Cool. You want to read Rachel?
Sure. Rachel Rose Farber. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing? We hope you're well. She says, hey, any messages from my guides tonight? Thanks. Okay. So I was just hearing in your voice asking, like, what's next for me? And I was hearing to get back to the singing. I want to see what that means. In what way?
So I'm not sure what this means, but the first thing I saw was an image of a dog. And I was trying to figure out what that means, or is it more symbolic or is it you in the room?
Yeah.
Are we centered?
We're good. I'm trying to cross my legs under the table. I had to back up.
But I was trying to figure out, okay, well, what about the dog? What am I really seeing? It was a really quick image and I caught it just barely. And then when she started talking about going back to singing, I had like a feeling, like a nostalgic feeling of like childhood. So I'm not sure how that connects with the dog, or even if it does.
I think it does, because what I was getting, I said why and what capacity, and they said any capacity. It was just like this idea of this self-expression and the opening up of the throat chakra, and it was almost like just practicing singing for enjoyment, and it was just you just doing it. It wasn't like performance based, it wasn't goal based. I feel like it's going to move some stuck energies, and I feel like it's going to teach you something about yourself to just do it. It was like the pleasure of self exploration of it, and it does feel like there's something creative about it. Like, you can sing songs that but it also feels like you could just launch into singing and wind up creating a new song, creating new lyrics, creating new melodies, and just letting it rip and just having a good time with it and not needing it to be received by anyone in any certain way. It's like, just do it and love it. It just feels like for the joy of it. I feel like it's going to raise your vibration and unblock some stuck energies. And they just want me to explain a little bit about chakra balancing. So we have all these energy centers. People usually focus on the 7 main energy centers in the body. And what we will do when we come here, as souls, we'll have catalysts programmed for us, and we'll come in with distortions, and we'll come in with partial chakra blocks. And part of the journey is to get unstuck and end these distortions, and to get the energy flowing and moving. And so there's different ways we can do that, but energy healing is one of those ways. And singing for you is energy healing. It's self-healing. The toning is aligning your cells in a certain way, and they're just showing they're showing me chakras lighting up and spinning and clearing out blockages. And once you do something like that, it can raise your vibration, it can raise your self-awareness and your consciousness levels, and it can make you wiser. It can give you higher perspectives. So I feel like you're going to get a lot out of it, aside from just screwing around. But I think the dog was the symbolism of that, sort of the childlike wonder and the playfulness and the innocence of it, and just like doing it, and not in a self-conscious way, the way dogs are. The way I can hear my dog doing something over there.
Yeah. Chewing something.
Yeah, as usual.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything else, so that was good.
I think
you got it all.
Okay, cool.
All right. Ariana, what's new for me?
Oh,
You've been on my mind, Ariana.
Yeah, interesting.
So at first I saw like a serene beach scene, so I wasn't sure what that was about. But then I came to, you were sitting down with pad and paper, paper and pen rather, and you were writing and making notes, And it was almost like getting your thoughts onto paper, but it wasn't journaling. It was more like just any bits of wisdom that you have. It's almost like putting it on some paper, getting it into some writing. And it's almost like working out, you know how like when you're working on a problem and you write things down and you start figuring some things out. It feels like it's part of a problem solving thing, although maybe that's the wrong way to put it, but it's like solving a puzzle or trying to figure something out, and moving through this expression of maybe some wisdom and teachings and things that you have of that nature, but putting it onto paper. See if I can get anything else. Shelby, don't scratch my rug. And so then I saw like a glass of water, and I was just asking what was that, and the glass of water felt cleansing. I think that what they're trying to say with this is that it's kind of a purification process to get those thoughts onto some paper.
Okay, they want me to speak up too. They're saying they don't want you to be afraid of what you could learn about yourself. I do feel like there's this little bit of a fear of exploration, afraid of even what we might tell you, or afraid. We often will use that term, like afraid of going to the principal's office. Like you're going to be like in trouble or something. Like it's like the worst feeling in the world. But I'm not saying you feel that, but it's like that sort of a sense of like, don't trigger that in me. Like, don't tell me I'm doing something wrong. I don't want to hear it. So it does feel like there's a little bit of fear in the exploration of this, and a desire too, if you do this, to sit down with a notebook and write down the wisdom, to do it in such a way of, I will teach my disciples what they need to know, as opposed to personalizing it. We often learn wisdom via our personal experiences. It's just how it is. And sometimes our greatest wisdom comes from our initially, our greatest mistakes or our misperceptions, and then how we were able to see through different illusions. So I do feel like they're just saying, don't be afraid of that process of doing it, and like you're not going to the principal's office. Like you're great. I feel like you're doing great. And again, it's subtle. I don't think you're afraid. I don't feel like that feeling is right out loud. I feel like this is sort of like a subconscious desire to skate over things to avoid that. And I'm just hearing you don't have to be afraid. So. And I think that's it.
And by the way, guys, if you like what we're doing here and you enjoy your time, share this with a friend that you think might also enjoy. Please. All right. Jess Mack.
Oh, right on. She says, good evening, ladies. Any messages for me? Thanks in advance. You are welcome. Okay, Jess. In advance.
I'm not quite sure what this means yet, but I'll say it because it might mean something. But it was this, you were like, dun, dun, da, 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 and then you're waiting to hear, and then it was almost like people off in the distance go, dun, dun, da, 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 and you're like, da, 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 da. I don't know, but it was like, it reminds me of like, cheerleading, but like without the cheer, you know what I mean? I mean, not that it was a sad thing, but like without the like AWE. But it was like you were clapping and then you were waiting to hear it in the distance and you were getting the response. But it's hard to describe what this vision was. I just heard miles away. It feels like it's miles away, but when I heard it, it sounded closer. It sounded like you were standing in the middle of a gymnasium and the people on the bleachers were clapping back. That's kind of how it sounded, but you're just like expecting it to be miles away. I think what they're trying to say is what you're putting out there is returning, like you're you're really about to reap what you've been sowing, and it's coming, and it's closer than you think. I'm hearing the ding, ding, ding. So I feel like I'm getting whoever this guide is, their visions. It's interesting.
So I'll tell you what I was seeing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to describe this vision. It was really bizarre. But there was this sort of, it was the sense of being inside a tornado, but it was very still inside. And it was like a gray wind, probably full of dust and debris spinning around you. And you were walking along just calmly, and you had your fingers in the tornado. And you were just walking, 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 and every once in a while a piece of debris would hit your hand and you're like, ow. Then you would stick your hand back in the stream of air, and you were walking, walking sort of around, and it was a very large funnel, but you got to the end, but then it was the end of the funnel. And then it was like, oh, it's gone. Like the tornado had opened and like unraveled. And then there was this beautiful, it was like greenery, like mountains and pastures and flowers and like a village in a valley in the distance, and it was really beautiful. And it was the sense of when you were saying like it's closer than you think, it's like the idea of like I'm waiting for all this like crap to die down, and it was like it's closer than you think, like you're coming to the end of the tornado that you've had your fingers in.
I feel like they're just saying stay really positive, I think this is for all of us, honestly. Focus, stay really positive, don't get into any negativity at all as much as you can help it. It does not serve you at all. Try to stay high vibe, really focus on what you're trying to create and bring into this experience, and make that your sole focus. All the other stuff going on around you is just, it can be done. You don't need to give it the attention. And I asked if there was anything else, and I heard yes, and then I see crystals again, like crystals. A lot of really beautiful crystals.
Here's one.
And I think crystals have come up in your reading before, haven't they?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
Yeah. I don't usually remember too much, but I feel like that is sticking out to me. So if you have not been diving into working with crystals or understanding crystals, maybe it's time to do so. Or if you have, go deeper with it. Like I'm also even feeling you maybe even putting together a class of how to work with crystals or something like that.
I just heard, yeah. Cool.
And then I heard self-love, self-love, self-love. And an idea of romance or something was kind of like what preceded that. And it was like this feeling of being in a relationship or something. So I don't know if you're with somebody or wanting to be with somebody, whatever that is. But I think whatever the relationship status is or desire for it, they brought that into my awareness. And then it was like self-love, self-love, self-love. So whatever it is your desires are around romance, it feels like it's, really focus on you and the expression of loving self, because self is other and other is self. And that idea of to experience the fullness of any relationship, you need to really love yourself as fully as possible.
Yeah, in the Raw Contact book that we were talking about earlier, there is a line in there that basically says you really do need to learn to love yourself extraordinarily deeply, because you can't love another as well as you can love yourself. Basically, you can only love another as much as you can love yourself, is what they say. The other side of this too, I'm feeling like, is learning to be really good at receiving love. And so learning to love yourself is a precursor to learning to be better at receiving it. Because as you know, not to stereotype, but women are usually really great at loving, just full hearted, have at it. They love to love, like they love love. And, but they don't, like when you say, like, oh, it's self love, it's like, ugh.
Well, let's go get a mani pedi.
Yeah, we'll take a bubble bath. That's not self love. So it's like, yeah, really learning to accept and love and adore every inch of yourself, because it will help you to allow someone else to do the same, because we're often very good at deflecting the attention off of ourselves because of those things about ourselves that we don't really like, and we're like, no, 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 let me just love you. And it's like that often does lead to picking poor partners and one-sided relationships. So it is important to learn how to love yourself so that you can meet somebody who wants to also love you, and so you can love them back.
All right. Danielle Lear. Good evening, beautiful ladies. Any messages for me at this time about all of the deep personal stuff I've been dealing with lately? We'll definitely try to make the meditation awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so I think the idea of self-love is important in this conversation as well. And also the idea of an ever unfolding presence. You know, we're always unfolding. Everything is becoming. There is no end. You know, we just keep becoming. And that's part of it. You know, it's not like I can't wait to get to this place because then I will be there. It's I am here now and this is where I am and this is an unfolding and I'm going to continue unfolding for the rest of my soul's history. You know, whatever is left, the millions and billions of years, whatever this is, we're going to keep unfolding. It just doesn't stop. And the idea is try not to strive so hard. I feel like you're striving hard for something, and it's more about just the unfolding. It's the looking within. What is happening outside of me is always leading me within, and there's something that I need to look at within. It's directing me towards that space that needs attention. And I mean, it's nice to get the things or whatever it is we're searching for or working on. It's nice to get those things, whatever it is. But the point is not to get those things. The point is the unfolding and the becoming in the process of working towards those things. And I feel like there's some frustration and disappointment and just certain things I think aren't going the way you were hoping they would. But that's a perspective shift. There needs to be a perspective shift and look within and figure out what is this trying to show me. And it's never really about what's outside. It's always about. It's almost like the universe is trying to help you shine that light to find the areas in which you need to focus on next. And sort of remember that and to do it kindly for yourself, you know. I think sometimes too we take what's happening on the outside of us and we direct it inside of us in a negative way. And they don't want you to do that. They want you to really focus on the beauty and the love and the joy, and then, you know, maybe there's healing, or maybe there's this, maybe there's that, maybe there's this area of growth that you need, or a fear you need to conquer. Whatever it is, utilize whatever's happening to really find that space within you. That's all I'm getting, I think.
I'll just explain the vision that I saw when Jenn was talking sort of early on. It was your heart, but it was a rainbow heart. There was like, you know, if it was like red, orange, yellow, green, blue. So it was like this beautiful rainbow heart, but then it was really, it was sort of this beautiful, like, throbbing and pulsing, but it was like I could go into the heart, and then it was just this infinite heart tunnel. And it was like the expanse of the universe. It was just this amazing. And so when you were saying that, we are infinite and we're always becoming, it just sort of really matched this beautiful imagery of I'm sorry, I'm shaking the table, the whole thing's going. This beautiful imagery sort of illustrating just the expansiveness of your heart center and you, and your infiniteness, the infiniteness of your being and your love, and the ability to go inside yourself and explore that. And I think that is it.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything else.
Okay.
Hope that helps, lady.
Yeah. Sandra Hudson says, "Hi, ladies. Any messages from guides tonight? I feel stuck."
So immediately what comes to me, we just recorded a video earlier that we'll be putting out in the next couple of days about resistance.
Oh, yeah. Resisting what is.
Yeah. And part of what we were talking about was sometimes when how do you figure out when you're resisting something? Because sometimes it's not so obvious. When you're feeling stuck is sometimes one of the ways, and that's immediately what came up for me when I asked about it. So what are you resisting? What is showing up in your life that you're not thrilled about, that you're pushing against, that you're wishing wasn't there?
Yeah, or that you want to be different. I feel like there's something that has to get healed.
Yeah, and I'm also feeling, we've had a few years of kind of crazy energy too, and a lot of people have been feeling stuck. So I feel like it's a mixture of that too. Mm-hmm. But I also want to say, because the energies are shifting, it feels like we're moving out of that craziness and into a more moving space and time with the energy. And I'm feeling that definitely with you. And so where you feel stuck, that resistance is really important. And I'm going to let you take off with the healing, because I feel like there's more to discuss about that.
Oh, yeah, it feels hard. Like I was feeling some heart pain. It feels like there's some heartbreak. And I'm just here to dive into it. Don't be scared. We get scared. We hear heartbreak, heart healing. Oh God, it's gonna hurt. Not necessarily. Sometimes it just makes you feel better. I'm just hearing there are painless options. I mean, we often will do energy healing in a way that's not upsetting. So that's nice.
I'm hearing awareness of emotion too.
Okay, and I was also hearing consciousness work. So sometimes we all have a painful perspective. Mm-hmm. So we'll have a painful perspective, and then it'll cause us emotional pain.
Or numbness.
I was just about to say, because what I feel like is happening is that it's like the pain starts to come in, and then we kind of like, nope, not gonna do that, not doing it, not gonna go there. And so then we don't process the perspective that causes us pain. It's often a sort of like an assumption, where it's just like, well, it seems obvious, so, and it's obviously sucks. So, we all do that all the time. So I do feel like it's looking around do some poking around to see where the perspective is that's causing the pain or the numbness. And I'm hearing the numbness, because I think what underneath the numbness would be pain. So, and I just heard life sucks. So it might be some general feelings. And I feel like learning to explore topics of faith and trust on a deeper level will be helpful, because often we get down here. I used the phrase earlier, dragged through broken glass, to describe the last few years. It's been hard for a lot of people, so it's natural. It's only natural. But often beneath that is feeling like there's no good reason for what we're going through. But if we explore the difficult times in the context of trusting that it's for our highest good, whatever shows up, and that there's always something to be learned, and there's always a way we can grow from it and get stronger, and to ascend. That's why we came here as souls, to use that catalyst for polarization and soul growth. Polarization meaning choosing the positive path. Because some people, they don't choose. They go to work, they come home, they watch TV, they go to bed, and that's not polarization really. It requires a certain awareness and a strength and a heart healing and an awakening to choose that you're going to serve humanity in some way. And that could still look the same. You get up and you go to work, but you decide, how can I help today? How can I serve? And in every moment, you're very conscious of being of service. And that could just be by being you. Who knows? We all have different paths and ways that we're meant to serve, but it's exploring the soul's purpose and the soul's mission within the context of service.
One last thing I was getting was, I feel like there's something connected with your dad. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't know if you guys had a good relationship or not, or maybe it's some sort of ancestral, feels like it might be more ancestral, but some sort of an ancestral piece that needs to be healed around whatever it is that's causing you to be stuck. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All righty. All right. Hello, Carrie. She says, nice to see you. Well, I can't see you. It would be nice to see you. Yes.
Pearl?
Yeah.
All right. Pearl, Teeny, Squirtney. Hi, ladies. Any messages for my guides tonight? Thanks so much.
Cool.
So I'm really focused on your heart chakra, Pearl, and you've been doing a good job of looking in there and cleaning things up, like the spider webs and things like that, like little things, like you've been really pulling it out, and it feels big to you, and they're saying good job on that. I do feel like there's some more things in there to explore. I'm trying to see if I can get any information on what it is, but nothing's really coming. But I do think they just want you to continue to explore, what are you holding in your heart? Are there any other woundings? Are there regrets or things that maybe you would wish to do differently? All of that you're still holding. It would be really good to just become really aware of it and shine the light on it.
Yeah, and I'm hearing practicing unconditional love. And it's in the context too of what we were talking about with resistance. We often resist, the people in our life and how they are, who they're being, our past, and anything and everything. We can be in resistance to it, and then we're not unconditionally loving it. And I feel like examining that concept of unconditional love for the people, the situations, everything in your life, moving from resistance to acceptance of it. Now, that doesn't mean to accept that, like, oh, it's fine. It's not like a repression. It's just seeing things for how they are and coming to a loving, accepting place with it. I'll just use a really, vague random example. Like, let's say there's somebody has like Uncle Jackhole, we'll call him. And Uncle Jackhole is not that fun. And it's like, it doesn't mean you have to go be BFF and love all up on Uncle Jackhole. He sounds like a real jerk. But it's like, just, you can know that person exists, and you can love that person on a soul level and be accepting of them and not be in resistance to them. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just what coming. They said use the name Uncle Jackhole, so there you go.
Made me laugh.
Good times.
All right, Sandy Schrader.
Yay, Sandy. She says, "Hi, ladies. Any news for me this beautiful snowy evening?" It is beautiful, isn't it? Gosh.
I'm not sure exactly what this means, but you were like counting some dough and you're doing like where you're flipping it and like, and you tap it, set it down, take the next one, tap it, set it down. I don't know what that means, but it must have something to do with money. I don't know if you've recently come into some money or something, unexpected came in, but it didn't feel like worry or anything like that. It felt like positive money coming in.
I'm not really hearing anything. I just heard that you're feeling abundant.
Yeah, I asked if it had anything to do with work, and I'm not really getting a strong answer of anything with work. And then I started like going to family, but it just felt like not much there. Okay.
So I got like a few little tiny things. So one thing I heard is you're learning and growing, and good job. The other thing I was getting from you was a sense of positivity and excitement. So yay. And I'm also having this sense aside, I do feel like that was about money, that Jen was getting something about money, but I also feel like there's something about the general, just the abundance of the universe. And so abundance can mean a lot of things. It can mean opportunities. It can just mean like the universe is a big place and there's a lot out there, So it just has this sort of expansive, exciting feeling to it. Um, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling more specific than that. It just feels positive.
Well, I'm also getting that they would like for you, because they got me on the soul growth track. And what they said was they would like for you to question things more. Like, just why? Why do you think the way you think? Why do you believe what you believe? Is that a programmed thing, or is it truth, or, what is it? That's a good thing for all of us to do, honestly. And the more we question, what's real and what's just a belief, the more we open up to wiser truth and more wisdom, and we break free from the programming and the chains and the enslavement that we experience here on earth. We are very enslaved in a lot of ways, and most of us tend to be asleep to it. Those who are starting to awaken, or who are on like a more spiritual path of just truth finding, trying to figure it out, looking for bigger, better answers, whatever it might be. It's an important process. And one of the best things you can do is ask, well, why? One of the trainings I went through, they recommend for a couple of weeks just saying, it's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view. It's an access consciousness thing. It's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view. And everything you think, it's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view. And it might be, but your point of view might be very accurate and might be correct and right for you to feel that way. But it might also be that there might be some key things that you suddenly realize, why do I really think that? Why do I really believe that? That's interesting. And you become an observer of the idea of that belief, and instead of the experiencer of that belief. And so it puts you into a curious, as Katie likes to put it, a curious state to find deeper truth within you. And it's a really beautiful process. It frees you of just the burdens that we often feel. Like, for example, getting in front of the camera, was a big thing for me and Katie. And, but we had to get over the people might think, if we screw up or we say the wrong thing and it's forever on the internet, and it's forever on the internet. I don't know. But
Yeah.
but just getting over that and needing to be perfect and say all the right things. And what if we read somebody incorrectly or whatever? And, especially with the lives, that was a little,
Yeah,
Yeah. Especially if we try to sing, which I don't usually do. There's a reason for that, because it's forever on the internet.
Oh, well, I guess I'm screwed. You're going to have to
Yeah.
sing more now.
I know, right? But, so it's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view, that I don't want to sing in front of you guys. So, right. So that's like, it's interesting. There's a belief system behind that, and the belief may be accurate. It may be completely inaccurate. So it's an interesting point of view that I have that point of view. Just question. Because there are a lot of beliefs that we all have that really aren't serving us in any way. They're really keeping us bound. And just so you guys know, freedom was the word that my guides gave me for 2021. Freedom!
Awesome.
So, I hope that helps. I think that's all I'm getting.
All right. Freedom's a good word.
Sherry Harris?
Sure. Sherry Harris says, any messages from my guide or family? Okay, Sherry.
I immediately see an image of an angel. I'm also immediately getting a headache. So that might be a loved one. So I feel like the loved one, I feel like either they had bad headaches or maybe they died in an accident. The type of headache I'm getting reminds me of somebody who died in an accident and maybe hit their head. So it may have been somebody who died in a car accident, because the type of pain, it feels.
Yeah, it's like all over the head.
Mm-hmm. Whoever this is, they're just saying they want you to know that they are with you. And yes, there is life after death. And yes, they are very aware of what you're going through in life. And then I just shifted over to an image of sitting at a small desk with, remember when people used to write handwritten notes, you had special little letterhead and you were writing on one of those, special letterhead little notes that had a little special envelope, and I'm not sure what that's about, but that's what I saw, so I'm saying it. So I don't know if you've written letters to this person.
I'm hearing the word correspondence, which is a very quaint old word, I think.
And I feel like so I don't know if that's a physical representation of something you've done, or if they're just trying to get the message across that you can get messages, or you can give them messages, they hear you. The communication really is very clear. They know what you're thinking, what you're going through, what you're doing. You may say it out loud, or you can even think it, and they seem to know. So, I feel like it's really important that, for all of us, if we want to connect to our loved ones, we can. All we have to do is just call them in. And the more sensitive you are to energy, the more you're going to feel their presence. But if you can't feel their presence, they often will use things like pennies or feathers or, other things to show you that they are around.
I just heard beautiful, loving soul.
And I'm coming back to the angel. They bring me back to the angel, and the headache's starting to disappear. With the angel, they want you to really focus on soul growth. And it's easy at this time to get sidetracked and to think about other things. There's a lot going on in the world and a lot of things to be concerned about or whatever. And I'm not feeling overly concerned. Like I don't feel like you're feeling overly concerned, but there's just distracted. There is no greater time than now to do soul work. That soul growth is so important. Um, connecting to your intuitive abilities, connecting to consciousness work, healing the wounding, all of that, the things from our past, and healing our karma. We came here to work through certain things that we have to make up for with karma or whatever it is to balance the energies, whether it be our own personal karma or ancestral karma or whatever it is. There's a lot of work to do for all of us to really move forward in this life, and that's what we came here for. I do feel like there's some things in your history that could use some clearing and healing. It's funny. It reminds me too, when I first started getting energy healing, my main guide, Leonard, I took Reiki 1 and I was kind of starting to get into all of this. And my main guide, Leonard, I was told I had a main guide named Leonard. He was my lifetime guide. And I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, guides and angels, sure. It's a nice thing to think, but is it real? How do you even know? It's all make believe, And then I was doing a lot of healing work and going every week. I was getting, Reiki done and having a lot of stuff come up for myself. I needed a lot of healing. But then I decided, okay, enough is enough. This is like crazy making. There was a lot of stuff moving around for me. And I sat on the edge of my bed after that decision that I was going to take a break from it for a while. And my guide, Leonard, came in and it was like a different tuner, like it's something tuned in. I felt like a radio station changing stations, in my ear. And this beautiful, loving, fatherly, stern voice said, "There's still much work yet to be done." I was like, crap. Okay. But I'm taking a break. A little break. I need a break. But anyway, I did come back to it. It feels kind of like that. I feel like they want you to understand that there's some more digging to do here. And but it's really important, and the benefit is huge, and it's not as much effort as you think it might be. And I think that's all I heard. That is all. Did you have anything else?
No, I think you got it.
All right. Dawn Guilford. Hey, ladies, any messages for me today?
Okay, Dawn.
All I'm seeing is this color of red. I think they're pulling me down. I think what they're trying to show me is like root chakra, foundational based. Are your needs kind of met? Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah. So there's different ways we can heal that. I mean, look, the way healing often goes is in the order of the chakras, and all the chakras have different representations. And we have a really hard time ascending and growing and reaching higher perspectives when we're struggling for survival. It's like, it's like we got to sort of shore that up first and do all that kind of healing first before we can really comfortably set that aside and focus on things like creativity and service. If we're struggling to, and heart opening and love and self-expression, we can't do those things when we're like, where's our, next meal going to come from? And when we have root chakra issues, it doesn't necessarily mean that we live in lack, but it can mean that we have a lot of fears around survival. That could be something like, I'm afraid to speak my truth because we have this irrational fear of rejection, like being cast out of the tribe. So it can show up in a lot of different random ways. It doesn't necessarily mean we're broken, we can't survive, but it might mean like we're rich, but we still have fears about money. Survival can, and root chakra, material, it's like our relationship to living on this planet. It can show up in so many different ways. So I feel like it's important to see, what are these issues for you and how do you relate to being on earth and the experience of surviving here? Do you feel like you're really thriving or do you feel like you're, barely hanging on here? And in whatever way that might show up for you. Because we need to be able to feel safe and secure in order to have higher levels of growth. And that does need to get taken care of first. My dog is grunting.
With her head in my lap. It is so cute.
Let me see if I get anything else. I don't know what this means, but I just heard run some things up the flagpole. They said you need some help with some things. It's like sort of like putting out an SOS call. So I don't know if that means going to a healer or if you know there's some things that you have to express in your life. It just feels like you have to throw out a lifeline in some way. And I think that's all I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything else.
Okay.
All right. So Carrie says Galactic Contact sounds like fun. Can't wait.
Yeah, girl, we can't wait either. It's going to be fun. I'll let you guys know as soon as we have more deets.
Jacob Palmer.
Hi Jacob. He says, hey, lassies, I would love to hear about what's just in for me, right? Meow. Anything you two get.
So the first thing I saw was like one foot in front of the other, step by step by step. And then I saw what I heard was you're trying to fly to the moon, but you don't even have the spaceship yet. You know what I mean? So it's almost like taking too far, like stepping too far ahead when the foundation isn't quite finished being built or what you need to get there isn't quite ready yet. I'm not sure what this is about and what it's in relation to, but it feels like one thing at a time, one step at a time. And it's interesting for me to say this because in so many ways, like you're fully functional on the moon. You're out there and ready and raring to go, but it's almost like to have a great time on the moon, other things need to happen. Otherwise it can be a scary place or not quite fulfilling.
Yeah, and what they were showing me was this sort of this picture of you, and it was sort of waving, and it was just sort of like this dreamy sort of a thing. And then I heard, Earth to Jacob! And then I saw you, it was like through your eyes, I was seeing the hardware store. And you were working, and it was like, but the vision of there's like tools on the wall, but it was like that dreamy sort of a fuzzy thing. And as you were talking, it was like this idea of really building your foundation on Earth and really getting into this functional stuff and just kind of like being here and having a good time with it, because like independence is great, and it's like this idea of like you can function so well in these higher realms, and you can, such a beautiful channeler, such a awesome energy healer. Like there's certain skills you have that are just really exemplary, and not so that I get into comparison, but you're better than so many people. Sorry, you just are. You're just really good at it. But we all have things that we're not good at and that we need to work on. And I feel like for you, it is some of this, just some of the, the functional basics, because I've coached different clients on this before, people who are really great at being up in the air and pulling in those cosmic energies, and they're great at channeling, and they're great at healing, but they're not so great at humaning. Being a human of earth can feel really dry and kind of boring when you're really great at all these other skills that seem so much more important. They seem like really wonderful and fascinating and easy and fun and important. And then adulting and humaning can feel like, I don't want to. But I feel like they're saying that this is kind of it's like next station stop, or like your next focus for now, to really practice it and get a handle on it, and being grounded and present, because we have to be able to do both to be really effective at our soul's mission. We have to be able to human really well, to use human as a verb, to human. I think that's it.
All right, well, it is 8:00.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I just noticed it too. So just a reminder, Tuesday, please join us. We're going to do a unity meditation and activation, just
and healing. Bring in some energies and
yes.
And learning to enjoy Earth and our fellow humans, and connecting.
Yeah. So we look forward to it. I hope you guys can join us.
Yeah, and it probably won't be long. I think we were thinking,
we're thinking like a half hour, 45
so.
minutes. Yeah, it'll be pretty short. We're not answering questions. It's literally just to get into the energy of love and unity and connection to other humans of Earth. We're all here in this together, and at an incredible time. And it's time for us to feel connected again.
Yeah.
Also, if you like what we do, please go to divinelyguided.tv and check out our other videos and things that we've done, and also our soul growth group. And we do have a Florida retreat coming up at the end of April.
Yeah, please join us.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Bye. Thanks for watching.